Hey everybody, Calvin Nation here on the Jersey Devil Balisong Alliance, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about the FU-42 Balisong. As you can see, this is a video from Jeff, or Cutlery Lover. Basically, the other day I made a thread about this because I know that this is a bad knife. All the guys here know that it's a bad knife, and it's just good to raise awareness about this really crappy company who's ripping off fake Benchmades, making a prettied up version of these fake Benchmades and selling them for a profit. I just wanted to make this video because ever since Jeff's video here, I've been getting lots of PMs asking me about this. On Jeff's video, I've seen a lot of people talk about how they are now going to get this knife ever since of Jeff's video, and it's just, no matter how good Jeff is, you can't get all the information on everything, and I don't blame him for it. I mean, it's only a first impressions too, so it could change, but he gave it a pretty good review, and a lot of people are going to start buying these, I think, because of him, and I don't think that's such a good idea. It's a big rip-off, so I wanted to shed the light on it. The guys here are really experienced flippers and Balisong enthusiasts, so they know all the details on this. I don't know it all myself, but I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to post a link to this thread as well in my video. You might have to register to see it. If you do, just make sure you introduce yourself and don't be a dink on the forum. So here's what I had to say. Jeff/Cutlery Lover talking about FU-42. What a piece of junk this knife is. Jeff is a great guy and I've never disagreed with him up until this point. Jeff is an influential guy and a lot of people will probably buy FU-42s because of this. It's upsetting, I tell you. Thoughts? Well, Carl Pilkington's thinking about it, but he's not doing very well. You know, every time he thinks about anything, gets him into some trouble. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the Ricky Gervais show. Carl Pilkington is freaking hilarious. You will laugh. Anyway, if you haven't seen the video, just look it up on Jeff's page, watch it, then come check out this thread. Anyway, we're going to go to the second last page here, number 6. A guy here, I mean, they're all making really good points, but this guy has a good post here of a bunch of pictures of the FU-42 and why it's such a shitty knife and why it's actually a copy of a Benchmade Model 42. Alright, so here he goes. He says, people want proof, so here it is. Keep drinking the Kool-Aid if you like the taste, but it's left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm done. The following are pictures I took about a week ago of a FU-42 prototype that I purchased and have since returned because it's identical to the fakes. He means the fakes is the Chinese versions, which are only 40 bucks or so. I'm not totally sure. These probably average around 100 to 130 bucks. So basically what he's doing is he's taking fake Benchmade 42s, prettying them up a bit, selling them for a profit. Anyway, he says, here it is in all its glory for all the naysayers who will say it's just a clone and not a FU-42. Note that the sheath is identical to a Benchmade sheath, only there is no logo. Before we look at that, check out this. And sorry I'm whispering because some people are asleep and don't want to wake them up. Anyway, it says Exiled Cultery. They can't even get their own name right. Pretty shameful if you ask me. Anyway, here is the sheath, very identical to Benchmade's, which is what the clone FU-42s from China come with. Later he says, and why is there no logo tag? Because this guy's modding these knives, cut it off and left the tab as evidence. You can see here just that. You can see right where the tag was. If you own a Benchmade, you'll know that there's like a 1/4 inch of tag here. It says Benchmade on them. So he's just cut that off to disguise the fact that it is actually just a clone FU-42 from China. Need more proof? Okay, you can make out the crevice in the back of the channel that you can stuff a business card in where the handle has been brazed together, just like the fakes. Don't go yet, I have more proof. You can see here, basically it's not actually milled out. It's just kind of welded, that back channel's welded on, which I actually didn't know. Here in this picture you will see that the handle sits way too close together. They only stay closed because the latch locks into that position. This is a common problem with many of the fakes as they didn't make a the kicker long enough for a poorly constructed channel to make contact with. If you're familiar with the 42, right underneath the choil here on the edge, there is a kicker, which is basically just a little kind of chunk of steel here where the bite handle comes in contact with to close the blade without a tang pin. Same thing with the safe handle, it just hits the spine of the blade. So instead of a tang pin design, it's called a kicker design. So basically he's just saying that the kicker isn't long enough to keep the handles apart. If you own a 42, you'll know that when it's closed or open, the handles are a good 1/8 inch apart or so, making it so it doesn't pinch you. This, you can see, just like the Chinese ones, is completely closed because of a bad kicker. Next he goes on to say, a nice flat latch that is identical to the latch found on a kimura, as you can see there. Isn't it also interesting that all the fake kimura clone trainers that this clown sells have a different T-latch installed and are identical in every detail to a kimura except for the latch? I wonder if those knives are donated apart, or did JB source a USA machining company to make these parts custom? I wonder. So basically, again, what he's saying here is that his fake kimuras, he took the latch off the fake kimuras, put them on the FU-42s. He has more evidence of that down here. But probably the only reason why he did that is because they say USA on them, just to make it so you kind of lose the trail or the scent that it's actually just a Chinese knife, not a USA made knife. So here, and if these latches are custom made in the USA along with the handles and blades, I wonder why there needs to be the same indent or circular cutout on the handles just like the real BM42 and clones for the spring latch. Technically the only one that even needs it is the real 42, so why is it on the USA made knife with the flat latch? Just seems just to keep it authentic looking is my guess. Sarcasm there, obviously. Nice little gaps too, where they didn't weld all the way the length of the handle. So you can see there, another reason why not to even just get it. Even if you didn't care if this guy was a dick and just taking Chinese knives and calling them his own and selling them for a good profit, even just the shoddy workmanship, that's the reason why I wouldn't even buy it. What he was saying there is they don't need these little kind of round indents on the fake 42s if they're using a latch. So obviously this is again just leading to more proof that this is a Chinese 42, because you don't need that little cutout for a flat bottom latch like that. If you own a real 42, you'll know that the bottom of the latch is kind of dome shaped, kind of like a UFO, and that kind of connects like a puzzle piece into that kind of female dome part, I guess you could say, on the handle. It does not need that if the latch is flat. So obviously they're taking latches from the kimura, putting them on here, and I guess just getting rid of the Chinese latches because that would be too much evidence that it is indeed just a Chinese fake instead of his own creation, which it isn't. If you go down here, it says, you still want more proof? Okay, you asked for it. Wow. Is it a round tang pin cup? I see. One of the most telltale signs of a big fake BM42. No, tell me it isn't so. And are those some cheap brass washers that come on the fake 42s as well? Wow, there are a lot of coincidences going on here. So again, he's just pointing to the fact that these are indeed just fake 42s from China, which is I guess it's kind of a catch-22 because even if this was his own design, it still is a fake BM42. It's just he's selling them for double the price of the Chinese 42s, and they won't perform any better than the Chinese 42s. So if you even still want an FU-42 after all this, just get one of the fake Chinese ones. They're probably actually even better than these pieces of crap. But basically they're exactly the same knife. You're just going to get it for cheaper. Okay, so he says, wow, look at all those shavings near the tang pin and the deformed nature of the pin. Looks like China to me. Again, just more evidence of shoddy workmanship. You can see that tang pin there. It's all blunted and weird. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Now, if you're going to make a custom-made latch for a balisong, which you would assume this is, would you incorporate the design of a latch into the handle, or would you simply rip off another design and merely wedge the latch in there with scrap metal? If these handles were machined in the USA, it makes no sense that they would attach the latch with 2 pieces of scrap metal. Tell me this doesn't look a bit odd. This isn't real proof, but it's not cohesive with a knife that is designed around a latch, but more looks like a modified design, which makes complete sense. Check out this. Basically, the way this latch works is there's a chunk of little cast metal in here, which is a piece of crap, with a ball bearing in the middle. This latch kind of pops on with kind of like a detent. There's pressure pushing on the latch with the ball bearing. If you twist it on 3 sides of the latch, there's a little cutout which connects with the ball bearing, kind of locking it either left, right, or up. So it's not a terrible design. I actually came up with almost the exact same idea before I heard about these. But it's a good design, but poorly executed. Definitely not a selling feature either way. But you can see here on the fake Chinese ones, they had spring latches. Another reason why this is just a fake Chinese one, prettied up to sell for a better profit. You can see here, that pin was where the spring was connected to, and then connected to the bottom of the latch here, which was actually supposed to be connected to this pin right here. What he did was just unscrew these pins and screws here, remove the latch, pop in a chunk of metal, and then pop this screw back in. So you can see, like he said, why wouldn't, if he made them himself, why wouldn't he just design it right into the handle instead of modifying it and just chucking a piece of cast metal into there? Such a rudimentary design. Definitely not the way anyone would plan it if they were making a knife. It's obviously just a Chinese knife. There's just another picture of it. Again, another picture of it. Here's where the poorly ground blade that has many of the same poor grind lines that can be found on the Chinese knives. It's also funny, though while not showing up the photos too well, the finish where the BM logos would have been on the knife looked to have had extensive polishing and more refined look than anywhere else on the blade. I mean, honestly, I think that's what that means. I don't even know. Oh, in my honest opinion, right? It looks like someone removed the logos. On those fake Chinese versions, they actually had Benchmade logos, which is pretty funny. He's just saying how it's polished off, you can kind of tell, but the picture doesn't do it very good justice. So here's just his conclusion here. Now I don't know how much more proof there needs to be laid out on the table. Now mix these pictures with the fact that JB now has changed Excel Cutlery's site and packaging to no longer include the term made in USA, even though it's still on the latch. I think it's pretty clear what's going on. I've also been in an argument with JB on YouTube for this very video, and he admits that where portions of the knife packaged are made, sorry, did I read that wrong? That where portions of this knife package are made and how they are supplied to him are no one's business. So obviously he's hiding something. To me, his actions and the product do not point anywhere near a legit business venture. Oh yeah, the weight of this knife was a few grams off the counterfeit. This was a few grams, most likely due to the change in latches. Make of it what you will. That makes total sense. Obviously they're going to be just a little bit heavier, again a few grams heavier, because instead of just that little spring latch there, he's added a chunk of little cast metal, and it's the reason why it's a little bit heavier. So there you have it. I suggest to read just kind of the whole thread, and yeah, just check it out. It's a very good thread to read if you're at all interested in the FU-42s. So there's going to be a link again, like I said, in the description. Please check it out, and please rethink your purchase of the FU-42s. I might PM Jeff about this. I was thinking about maybe making this a video response, but I don't think I'm going to. I know Jeff knows me, but that may be crossing the line just a little bit. I'll PM him about it. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching. I know it was very long, and yeah, that's the video. So, thanks for watching.